Welcome to Southampton Airport. We're going to be taking a flight today to Bristol, and of course we're taking the flight in the Cessna 208B Grand Caravan. This is the return flight from the last flight that we did in the 208, which was Bristol, of course, to Southampton. And the weather conditions are a little bit different. It's a little bit later in the day. This is stock weather, and I also have world traffic working, so unfortunately there's not an awful lot of activity here. I think it's just a lot of parked aircraft, which is unfortunate. I wish Olbex would allow us to turn the parked aircraft off. So that said, let us actually get the aircraft started. Parking brake is set. Switches are indeed off. We don't need to really worry about that because they don't remember the last state used. And ignition normal, fuel tank selectors on, bleed air heat is off, cabin heat mixing air control is in the flight position, emergency power lever is normal, power lever is idle, prop condition lever is now maximum, fuel condition lever is cut off, fuel shut off is on, so the battery on, battery is now on, wing flaps are indeed up, cabin signs on, annunciator panel, leave it in day, and now starting engine. We do, I'm pretty sure we'll have need to get a close in for this. There you go. Voltage is okay, and fuel boost is in the on position. Auxiliary pump, you see, get again a close up of the annunciators and the tiny text. Fuel boost pump annunciator is on. And fuel pressure low is off, no fuel flow. So let's turn the starter on, and we're looking for NG, low idle, I thought it wasn't going to start for a second. So that done. Get a few close up on these tiny instruments. So we've got fuel flow, ITT, NG 52% minimum, and so is that off? It is indeed off. And it's all looking good. Let's take this fuel boost pump off. So all annunciators are now off. Avionics 1 and 2. Nav and beacon. Suction gauge, well, it's always going to be correct. Cabin heating as desired. Again, we don't need to really worry about that. Radios are required. Not going to be using ATC, so that's not a problem. Now, before we go anywhere, we need to do some, you could say, housekeeping. So let's get navigation sorted out. Let's clear that flight plan. Let's set a couple of waypoints here before we go any further. So Pepys and Newbury. Oh, it's the wrong way. So there is no departure procedure here, so we're just going to have to kind of improvise a little bit. So that's the first one. Not an awful lot to be said about this process. If you've done it, it's not all that exciting. Newbury. So we have that, and we do have an arrival, if I can get there, which is BRI-1C, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't look like we're going to have that. Why is it saying, oh wait a minute, this is not, okay, this is a bit confusing. Okay, this has not gone to plan. Feeling a little bit rusty on this, and obviously G. If I can salvage this. It's a bit annoying. Don't make me have to do this twice. Let me just get rid of this. I forgot not to delete the leg. Oh wait a minute, clear. Hey, saved it. Schoolboy error as usual. So now that we have done that, see, I'm a little bit rusty on this. So looking for BRIC. And approach will be wireless 27. So hopefully we're going to 12,000 feet. No, I actually want... there you go. Let's go up at 1,000 feet per minute. I can't even remember if that's... that's going to work. Where's the AP switch? Let's just there you go. Let's get rid of that. So we're going to have to set that manually when we get there. Can I set heading? No. I just wanted to pre-select it, but it's not going to allow me to do that. Bit of a pain. Let's just take a look at if we can. If I can figure out where we are. Okay, alternative 3065. A light wind. 3065. Get rid of this. Zoom into these tiny instruments. That's about it. I think, unless I'm very much mistaken, I do believe that we've got everything straightened out. So hopefully we can continue as planned. Okay, let's flip on the taxi lights, given the fact we do need them. And actually, while we're here, set runway heading. That's about it. I think, unless I'm very much mistaken, and I usually am, I've usually forgotten something. Wait a minute. Just while I'm here, let's set trim for takeoff. Okay, that should be that. That would be handy if we had a clear route to taxi. I don't want to go through. That's not a very good place to park. Let's see if I can spin it around. Oh, is this going to work? What is he going to do? Is he moving? That's in the ground idle range. This is not the ideal position to be in, waiting for that to move. So yeah, we are going to most likely see, I think cloud is down about 3,000 feet, so lighting is going to become an issue in this. That is not exactly ideal, our bakes. I mean, I'm all for these vehicles to be at airports, but not when they're sitting in that sort of position. Thank you. You found second gear. Well done. This is just a bit crazy. Okay. Yeah, that's not getting moving. Let's switch it to... a little bit rusty on taxiing this aircraft, but it's a little bit different from the PC-12, which I've just been using. PC-12 really runs away from you. At taxi, it looks like this is okay. At lower power settings. Very slow at low power settings, in fact. So we'll be taking off to the north. usual thing, 400, 500 feet will be switching to autopilot. And hopefully this time it will engage correctly and we'll go where we want to go. Let's put the power back a little bit. Take this turn. Yeah, the flight out here was really full of issues of one sort or another, so I'm hoping that this time around it's going to improve a little bit. I do have world traffic set up, but as you can see there is nothing on the ground apart from the parked aircraft. It's needing quite a lot of power to get it moving. Just going to go down to the end of the taxiway and just hold short and go over everything, go over the checklist, make sure everything is set as it needs to be. Starting to pick up a little bit of speed. See if we can get onto the yellow line if possible. I'm just going right to the end, and of course we're going to be over Obex True Earth again, so we'll just see what the scenery looks like with a bit more lighting. Veering off a bit right there. Having to give it a lot of left rudder to keep it straight. He wants to go wildly off to the right. There's a little bit of wind, but it's really on a low level. Might even be down as low as 1 knot. Quite a bit of traffic on the road. Using maximum detail, so we should have all the buildings possible, all the road traffic possible, all the trains possible. So let's slow it down for this turn that's coming up. Should have actually started that slow down a little bit earlier. We'll just get away with it without having to use brakes until we get to the old choke points, which is rapidly coming up. A tight turn here, and there is indeed a runway ahead. A little bit untidy. Just bring it to a stop. Set the parking brake. And we now have the before takeoff checklist. Parking brake is set, flight controls are free and correct. Check the rudder pedals. Fuel boost, recheck normal, which it is. Fuel tank selectors are still on, still on. Fuel shut-off is still on. Fuel quantity, actually, that's something I didn't set before. So good enough for an hour and a half. Let's take it up to 2 hours. I wish fuel calculation was built into the into this page, just to make life really a lot easier. So fuel quantity is fine. Our trim is set for takeoff. Power lever is idle. That's OAT. Can look up there. Still in the positive, so on P2. Ice protection, avionics check and set. Altimeter set, altitude pre-selected set. GPS. that. That's looking good. So, now we could set this, but there's not an awful... There's not a great deal of reason to set this. It doesn't really do anything that I'm aware of. And where are we? GPS nav, GPS is set, strobes. Let's get the strobes on. So we'll get the taxi off. The landing lights on. Wing flaps will stick with 0. Plenty of runway. Sync the DG, make sure that's working correctly. And let's see. Normal takeoff power, set takeoff power. Rotate at 70-75 knots, and after 90 KIS, wing flaps retract, which we were okay on. So that is, as it starts to get a bit gloomy, that is the plan. So let's get onto the runway. So I'm going to push that condition lever up to flight idle or high idle. I'm not sure which one which naming convention they're giving it. I think it's high idle. Nothing on the runway. Pulling left. So just giving it a bit of right rudder to keep it straight. $70-75 knots. Let's get a lot of right rudder again. Still pulling left. Wow, that wanted to take off really quickly. That still is going up like a rocket. We'll just try to hold that at 1,500 feet per minute, or 1,000, something along those lines. That is going up like crazy. Let's get onto it now. So yeah, that accelerated, wanted to really just leap off the ground really early. Flap saw 0, I'm not sure what was going on with that. That really went up like crazy. Really wasn't expecting that. Let me just get a zoom onto this. Take it easy, take it down to 1,000. So yeah, that really went crazy on takeoff. Let me just check this. That looks, yeah, that's actually functioning correctly, so not a problem there. Airspeed is looking good. En route climb, let's take a look again at, yeah, it's coming down. Let's see if I can figure out which one is P-tail. So yeah, we've got a fair bit of, figure out what thinking that should be sufficient. But yeah, there are some clouds ahead, obviously we're flying through, so be careful with the icing. Speed 115, 125, a little bit above that I think, if I can, again if I can see the, yeah, we're about fine for that, for airspeed. Perhaps 1600 to 1900. Not so easy to see that. Let's just pull that back a little bit. And I think that is pretty much it. What are we looking for? 1690. These textures are pretty awful. Yeah, 1970, so we'll pull back a bit on the torque. I'll just leave it at that. I think that's going to be good enough. So we've got a moment to admire the scenery. We're already a long way to 12,000. As I mentioned before, this is just stock weather, so it's stock clouds. Still waiting for X-Enviro 1.1. They are reasonable. Okay, we need to be looking at the flight plan. Let's get ourselves organised. To BRI, we need to be down to 2,500, so we need to go down 10,000 feet, so 30 miles from BRI. We'll start the descent and we'll figure out the vertical speed closer to the time. Now we can't see the scenery. I can't see much of the scenery. I don't like doing external views on flights like this, and I know a few people will do that, will do external views. I don't do that because I don't really, kind of spoils the idea of actually being in this position of taking the flight. It seems a bit odd to have external views, and usually they don't really add an awful lot in my opinion, so that's why you will that's why you won't see external views in my flights. I just don't think they add an awful lot. So everything is it's 115, 125, that's perfectly reasonable. You don't need to be exact on everything. So suddenly the frame rates have completely died. Not quite sure why. Frame rates are still about 20, but every now and then they're dropping down to about 10. Not sure why when there's nothing but clouds. Trying to figure out whether I'll get a view of the sun, but I can't. And every time I look around, frame rates just say nope. Anyway, it's in that direction. Frame rates die again. I've got to remember what are the lighting controls. The life of me, I can't remember where the lighting controls are, and it's so difficult to see this stuff. and it keeps zooming in. Here you go. We're getting somewhere. It's really hard to see these controls, they're so small. The text is so poor. Yeah, I can see the spot they're lighting up on that. Is that going to be enough though? I have to hope so. I don't think there's any overhead lighting. So I think we're stuck with that. Hopefully that's going to be sufficient. Okay, let's zoom in tight on this so I can actually change the altimeter. That's about right. So this is going to be a bit of an adventure to see whether the cockpit lighting is sufficient. I don't know if it's going to get all that dark by the time we get to Bristol. Certainly up above the clouds, so there's not an awful lot to see. Just a gap in the clouds there. Coming up to 12,000. So let's bring us back up a little bit. Coming to Newbury. So yeah, we've got some distance to cover before we get to Bristol. This will be a two-part video. We'll be splitting it at roughly the halfway mark. I'm not sure if anybody's going to be wanting to sit and watch a 1.5 hour long video in one go, so I think it makes sense to split them into two parts. No, the clouds are reasonable. I'm looking at X-Enviro 1.1. They're not, the clouds aren't perfect, but they are going to be superior. I do miss having those X-Enviro clouds. It's just issues with turbulence for me that made me return to stock weather, which has certainly improved a lot since the first release. Frame rate's now up to about 32, 28 to 32. And some nice lighting effects as the sun goes down. Not an awful lot to look at. Well, maybe we're coming up to the end of the clouds. What kind of temperature we're looking at? If I can actually zoom in. Is that minus 20? Yeah, I think it is. And looking at the instrument panel, zooming in to look at the instrument panel, get a proper view of it. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. So, let's see. 10 miles to Pomax, just to be safe, we'll start the descent down to BRI. Going down to 2,500 feet. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I will be switching to pilot to ATC at some point. Oh, going back into the seat again. It's just having the time to set that up and get prepared for it. Can't remember the last time I did a flight in these conditions, in these kind of dusk conditions. It Just thinking how much better that would look with X-Enviro. It's just a shame that it's not quite ready. I'm not sure when it'll be ready. I know people are asking on the forum, can you just release it now? Well, we've kind of been down that road before with X-Enviro. People in the community saying just release it and we'll take it as it is. You can just keep on improving it and putting the updates out. Problem with that is that inevitably people then complain about bugs. And of course that's the purpose of the beta process, to actually deal with bugs. I hope they resist the calls to release it as it is. It's tempting to say just release it as it is and we'll see. We'll help with the testing process even, but that's not a good idea. It's just going to cause more problems than it solves. We'll just need to be a little patient and wait for it to come out. We'd all like it to be out. We'd all like it to be out yesterday, but again, stutters and looking around. But the best approach that they can take is it will be finished when it's finished. And some good views. Trying to do some VFR flights because of course the True Earth scenery does make that really possible. It's going to take a little while for me to get on top of that. Having said that, the Airbus Robin DR401 is a really good aircraft to be doing that kind of thing with. That kind of thing in. It has such great visibility. We'll go turn it onto Pomax. We'll get to see some sunlight. Just the setting sun. I do like this aircraft. I've just done I think this is the second. Actually I did one flight in the Caribbean, but this is probably the third complete flight I've done. It's really easy to start. You don't really need to use a checklist. Checklists are useful to make sure that you don't miss anything, but in reality, you don't really need a checklist for this. It's pretty easy to work your way through it just by memory and just overall knowledge of how to start an aircraft. One thing I miss with it is the DME. Unfortunately, without the 530, instead of the 430, you don't have any DME facility, which is a shame because sometimes DME does come in handy. Just a little bit nervous that this flight has gone pretty much smoothly so far. Wondering how long that's going to last for.